gonna work. All right, we're live. We're live, guys. It's always. I'm always holding my breath every time. I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work, guys. David Fox here with Synergy Realty Group, the Black Belt Realtor, and we have the man of the men themselves, I should say. We're gonna Jordan Bobbitt, the head broker, and Jerry Bobbitt. You just work here, right? Like, is that?
The head broker.
So all right, so we've got a good topic today. This is the creepy. Yes, it was a pun. Is playing words. That's what happens when you're a dad, right? Creepy costs of home ownership. And so, in addition, we have the Reddit rundown, which is just that. I gotta say, that's like one of my favorite things of the week. I get Reddit notifications of real estate. Jerry's shaking his head. He's like it's. I love reading these because I'm like, dude, there's where is your counsel? Where?
So you sent me the link. You know, the Reddit
Yeah,
link.
yeah. Which we'll get into.
Which I don't have a Reddit account.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
it's probably a good. You don't. No, Reddit. You don't need to be on Reddit. Like Facebook is barely enough for you. Like, will they kick him off? Is Reddit? Are they?
I am not on Reddit.
Reddit is the reason I like Reddit is because it seems to be just like a bucket of crabs, honestly. Like
I'm like these stories that you tell.
Telling you.
I don't have, like I said, the brain power to deal with the stupidity.
Well, we'll find out. So we're gonna get into it. First, so the topic we're covering today is the hidden cost of homeownership, and so things leading up to closing, and then also after closing as well. So let's start with those questions, and then I'll kind of sprinkle in some of the Reddit rundown, so we don't spend, because we could go off on those, right? So I'm gonna punt this to Jerry, and then for the first question, then we'll go to Jordan for the second after he provides his insight. So Jerry, walk us through, what are some costs? I want to buy a house. What can I expect to spend leading up to the purchase? How much down? Anything else? Let's run.
Those are good questions, right?
Okay.
So when you're purchasing a house, it's not just the down payment that you're going to need. There's closing costs, and those are broken down into prepaids. Prepaids are things that you're going to pay before closing,
such as
an appraisal fee, 1 year private homeowners insurance. So those are typically things that you have to pay prior to the appraisal. You'll pay for when it's done. The 1 year of homeowners insurance, you'll have to have a paid receipt prior to closing. So those are typically two things that people have to pay prior to.
So because a lot of people get this confused. I know, like there's the down payment.
Correct.
Just to put down on to own a home, like to as far as the mortgage amount of what your loan amount is.
3%, your
3.5%.
Or 3.5%. Yeah.
So depending on what type of mortgage you do, so you've got pretty much VA, FHA, conventional. Those are your three prominent types that are most likely going to happen 95% of the time or more. So conventional, they've got programs as little, and a lot of people are like, oh, you need 20% down on a conventional, which is the furthest from the truth.
Sure.
Depending on your credit, you can go as little as 3% down on some programs.
Oh, I didn't know you could do 3. I knew 5.
Yep,
5 is pretty common.
They have 3% down programs. They actually have a 1% down program if you are a first responder. So if you're a first responder,
that's
and
sick.
that goes into police, fire, and I think doctor, nurses. They all qualify for a 1% down program. So there's that. So again, conventional, you have 3%, 5%, and anything up and above that.
What is so? Wait, hang on. I think I'm going back in on my list of clients now. Like what? So all first responders can apply for that? Can qualify? Like what are the qualifications?
There's caveats. Like
yeah.
I don't think EMT. If you're just an ambulance, and I'm not degrading, but if you're an ambulance driver,
Sure.
I don't think those qualify.
They should.
And it's not
they
my
should,
program,
though.
and I think they should. Honestly.
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
But I don't think those qualify. To me, they are the first responders.
Yeah. Right.
But there are caveats there.
Okay.
That's not my specialty,
sure,
so
sure.
I know that there's caveats though. So if you have FHA, conventional, conventional we just talked about. FHA, a lot of people think, oh, those are just for first-time home buyers, which isn't is furthest from the truth. FHA goes up to 700.
Oh, they've increased it lately. I don't even know what the rates.
So
it's not
you,
like we have many FHA buyers going to close to it.
yeah, so it goes over $500,000 though, for a purchase price. But what FHA does do is it's more lenient for your job time. So conventional is going to want to see 2 years on the job, right? They want to see solid performance in that area. Where FHA, you can be fresh out of high school. If you qualify financially for it, then you only need 3 months. And if you're in a program, let's assume you are like in a plumbing program, right? And so that was your schooling,
Sure.
and you got a job. They can work their way around that, where they don't even have to wait the 3 months. So your job time is decreased tremendously on a conventional,
FHA.
or FHA. I apologize, on an FHA, and then the down payment on FHA is 3.5%. Also with FHA, the what's called DTI, debt to income ratio,
Yeah.
is more forgiving as well. So you can have more debt on FHA
Yeah.
than you would conventional.
And FHA, I know we speak it a lot. Like that's a federal program.
Correct.
So federal, FHA, what's it?
So-
Federal housing.
Federal
Yeah.
housing, yeah.
So with conventional, if I go to Fifth Third Bank, and I'm
Yep.
just throwing that out there,
Sure.
Fifth Third Bank is
See, they
taking
just
that risk.
bought Comerica.
I did.
That's
so.
it's a big purchase.
So,
I mean, not
fifth-
to get off topic, but it's been the year of acquisition. Well, years in the past. It's all about acquisition, mergers, and joining. I mean, whether you look at Cello or Rocket, or they're all.
What happened with Zillow and Rocket?
Well, they're just buying a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
different
yeah.
districts, Rocket's bought
Okay,
districts.
I thought you said that Rocket bought Zillow.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
dude.
No,
Yeah.
and then you've got Compass. I mean, they're.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a whole
yeah.
topic.
So with FHA, you've got that debt to income ratio, and you're asking who backs it. So with a conventional, the bank that you're getting your mortgage
Mhm.
through is taking the risk on you. So
Sure.
if you default, that bank eats the money.
Right.
With FHA is backing that. Now the bank will give you the money
Yeah.
that you're going through, but at the end of the day, if you defaulted, FHA is going to pay that bank
We're paying the bill.
back.
Yeah. Taxpayers pay the bill.
Yeah, correct.
Sure.
So that's FHA, that's conventional. VA is the Veterans Administration. So you have to be a veteran with a DD 214 is what the form's called, meaning that I was released.
That will be on the quiz
Yeah,
later
there you go.
for you guys following along. That's so if you're taking notes.
Yeah, so you have to be released from or retired from the military, and then that I think that one
It's 0%.
it's a
It's
0% down
down.
program.
So
That
there's
does not mean 0% up front when you're closing.
correct. Yeah. So zero down, and because people get confused, they're like 3.5. Let's say easy math, right? $100,000 house, 3.5%. I only need $3,500. I can buy a house. When in reality, you're talking about prepaids. There's closing, prepaids,
Taxes.
closing costs, tax, prepaid for a year of taxes. Yeah,
Or more.
I mean, yeah, taxes are rough, and
Oh, yeah.
and especially as the values go up, right? So you're prepaying, you could pay $5,000 and upfront,
Easy.
Upfront for the year in taxes, plus
Your-
insurance is another 1,800.
Yeah,
$2,000.
your prepays can go up as high as 3 or 4% of the total.
The sale price.
Sale price.
So ball rule of thumb, rule of wrist, right? Like you've got 3.5 down, 3.5 in closing costs. So
3.5, 4.
seven, yeah. So 7 to 7.5% is what's going to. So if you want to buy a $20,000 house, no. You don't want to buy a $20,000. So if you want to buy a $200,000 house, then 7 times 2 is $14,000, 15,000, which is still.
Yeah.
I mean, you're into a house
But
though.
there's programs, right? So there's first time buyer programs out there, like
Mhm.
I'll just use that one real quick. That's $10,000.
Yeah.
Now the money does have to be paid back
Yeah.
when you sell your home, but
At the
whether that be
sale.
5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years down the road, you're not paying it back with interest. You're just paying the money back
Right.
to refill the kitty.
Yeah.
So that's a great program. So if you are buying, just say a $200,000 house,
That's a great program.
you
Yeah.
need, let's just say that 6%.
What-
you need $12,000. You're getting 10 from Mishta, you need 2-3 grand.
Mishta, what's the income restriction on Mishta now?
So Mishta changes depending on what
Yeah.
community you're in, or what community the house is in, and the household size. So depending on how big, you're allowed to make more money for every if you're married, and
sure.
if you have 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kids, 4
Of course,
kids, the
yeah.
income goes up.
Yeah.
I think
It's all online.
I think starting, I mean, in
Like-
our general area, I think we're around 70, 80.
For
like if you start
Income.
making more than that, you
For your income.
for the income. If
For
that's if you're
for
single.
yeah,
Maximum
single
For
really.
single. So no,
Oh,
I mean
that's
you can.
that's higher than I thought. I
you
thought it was
can-
50, 60 for,
No, they've
if you're
raised
single.
it.
Okay.
They've raised it. I mean, you can make decent.
So
if you
so
have
so
some-
here, yeah, I was gonna say someone with their chats while you guys do that because I got doing my computer doesn't work great when I'm mission control. So there, I'm gonna take a moment to pause because people are like,
and that might
well,
take you long.
so people are like, why should housing continue to go up? It's greedy sellers. It's there's no. I saw an argument one time. They're like, why should housing continue to go up? They already built the house once, so all those costs were covered by the buyer. That's I swear to you. And they were like they already covered those costs once. But even the government now is saying like they just raised the purchase price for quite a bit from like what was the limit, like if you let's say you get a down payment or an FHA up to you could buy up to
Again, it depends on where you're at in the county, but I think Wayne County is at 700.
Yeah,
oh,
I've
they
got it
raised
right
it
here.
again to set. I
It's-
feel like
it's
it just went up to
something
5.
Yeah,
It,
I mean,
no,
I can
it's
look it up.
5.
Is it
544.
I'm sorry, 540.
544.
So just
okay.
so
Yeah,
Wayne
yeah.
County,
Yeah.
if you're in a targeted,
Talking to your mic for me, Jordan.
oh sorry, if you're in a targeted area in Wayne County, 2025 income limit for 1 to 2 persons is 121. 1 to 2, so a couple can make 120,000,
And that's low income.
and that's considered yes.
Low income. And if you have one kid, then you go up to 141.
And that's for Wayne.
And the
County
sale
specifically.
They must have just changed that.
No, that's
I,
what
I,
they did
I,
just-
I,
It's on
I
Insta.
swear I had a client making like 90 and they couldn't. There's nothing.
Well,
they
again,
could
They
do.
did change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did
And
just
they also
recently.
had their, sorry.
And also, you have to remember, those, like I said, were targeted areas. So depending, like if you're in a targeted,
Yeah,
those are
yeah, yeah.
specific
Where they're
cities,
trying to move
yeah,
houses there.
in
yeah.
Wayne County.
Mm.
Whereas you can use Mishta, but if you're not in a targeted area, then those income limits and different restrictions are a little bit different.
Mm.
So
Okay, that could have been it.
they, depending on what city she's looking, because you have to be in.
I gotta like it because I'm thinking of this couple right now. Like they got, dude,
It's-
they probably make $130.
Yeah, it's Dearborn, Detroit, Ecorse,
gotta-
Hamtramck,
yeah.
Highland Park.
Any kids?
No.
So if they're at $130, they wouldn't, right? Because it's a
Yeah,
121 cutoff.
yeah.
So.
Mm.
So anyways,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's that. VA, like I said, is a no money down
Yep.
program, and the VA backs
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's a great program.
Yeah.
You know, there's
There is a funding fee on that one.
there's been a lot of there's a lot of stigma surrounding FHA and VA. You know, like we just closed on a client. They like everyone came through the house. Dad, grandpa, they're like FHA is going to flag this, and I was like,
So,
I was like, I mean maybe, but like they're not, talking about window sealing and things. I was like, I don't.
typically
I
on
don't
an
see it.
FHA or VA and FHA look at the same stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I always tell people on the outside, peeling paint, any dilapidated like gutters or anything,
Yeah.
of course they're going to hit. And as far as concrete goes, if it's a tripping hazard, they're probably going to say something.
Yep. Yeah.
So they don't care about hairline cracks. What they do care about is if it's about a half inch or more, where
Yeah.
somebody's like high heels going to get stuck in there and they
Sure.
can break an ankle,
Sure.
or if it is cracked and uneven,
Yeah.
if it's a tripping hazard. And what's funny about FHA is if I see those with my listings, I will tell my sellers, hey, this needs to be repaired. And the reason for that is if FHA sees the crack and you have corrected it prior to them going out, they're okay with that.
And by what he means by corrected, he means like
Fill in the crack.
You get some quickcrete and you
Spend $10.
put it in really quick and call it a day.
No, seriously.
That's what he means. I was just wanted to
It
clarify.
really means putting the lipstick on that
Sounds-
pig.
'Cause
Because
he said correct, and I'm like, hold up, people are gonna think
Yeah.
you actually means fully correct.
No.
He's talking
Demoing,
about-
busting out. Yeah.
Putting
Yeah.
some quickcrete in, You do that beforehand, you're good to go. You wait until after. Now
They don't let you fix it. Now you have to replace
Oh,
it.
smart. Okay, that makes sense.
So get it done ahead of time.
So
On the inside, on the inside, they really don't nitpick.
I haven't seen that.
It has to be
Yeah.
what I always tell people. It's a habitable issue. Is the house habitable?
Right.
You know,
right.
do you have running plumbing? Are there any electrical issues? You know, is there exposed wiring? Is there chipping paint inside the house? Because lead-based paint is always a concern
Sure.
with FHA.
Sure. Yeah.
But other than that, you have to have one working window per bedroom. And by that I mean it has to stay up if you lift it up. Because again, if there's a fire,
Egress.
they want
yep.
people to have a place of egress
Yeah.
besides the door.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a listing that was FHA. There was 4 things hit on it. There was mold-like substance in the attic that they just said, hey, we just want to make sure that this isn't anything too bad. There was a little crack in the basement. He said again, just want somebody to check it out, make sure it's not structural. There was some paint chip on the deck that we had to repaint, and then there was a gas line that he thought was just open, and we just had to show that it was just a 2-foot line.
From what I've seen, man, they've been like pretty cool. Like the house that just sold, like they had 2 steps up to the porch, no railing. They didn't say anything.
And typically, if it's not a 3-foot drop, they're going to be okay.
3 feet. Oh, okay. Because I was like, they might want to. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, all right. Now, let's talk about.
Yeah, let's go back to the cost of homeownership.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, that's part of it, right? But let's add it. I'm actually gonna after that we're gonna do a Reddit rundown, and then just one, and then I want to go to the cost after the sale, like cost of homeownership after the sale, and
One thing
I
really quick
had to
add
catch myself.
on
Go ahead.
On the pre-sale part that you missed is home inspection, private home inspections, because those can get sometimes pretty pricey depending on the size of the house.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you've got a decent sized house, it can get up there, almost $1,000 by the time you add in all the.
So
inspection.
yeah, so we do, we like pillar to post is one, and they're right, like any other probably business or service, they're gonna have tiers of things, right? And I have clients a lot of times they're like, which one do I go with? And I said, listen, I mean, the $100 home inspection they don't even offer, but like that's not the one you want. You don't want like whoever, because as we've covered in the past, there's no real licensing or certification. They're
You can get certified,
or certification. Okay,
but there is no licensing by the state.
So, but there's, they I think they have $1,000 package, like pillar to post
yeah.
us, and I was like,
But
I
that,
mean,
that gives you a 3D rendering of the interior.
yeah, there's like radon
walk
and
on.
heat loss, and I said, listen, I mean, like, just understand, like, your house is built 6 years ago. It's probably not the most energy efficient house, right? I mean, radon. I mean, I had it in my home in South Lyon, and it was just as simple as like a fan going out to some point. Like, it's not a big, not really, like, unless there's radon, in the area. So $400 bucks ish,
That's about average, yeah.
is
money well spent.
Absolutely.
Money well spent.
So Reddit rundown, and we're gonna go with this first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share it for our viewers. After 4 months of searching and making offers, I bought a house just to have a roof over my head a month ago. Yesterday, the house I was dreaming of was listed. So it's been tough. Sold my house 21 years. It's just too big and expensive to run. Heat, taxes, etc. Makes sense. 2 months ago, I bought a house I don't like. Out of desperation, as I needed a place to live. It was basically all that was available in our small market. Yesterday, a house that I actually know, attended a couple social functions there, and is priced well, was listed. I know I could lose my shirt in selling so quickly. I really like the house that was just listed. The house I'm in is not what I like in a house at all. What would you do?
Well, first,
I'm going to go to Jordan. What you doing, Jordan?
first I just gotta say he acts like 4 months of house searching is a long time. I mean, come on. I think we
Yeah,
all-
that's not a long time.
That's a long time.
4 months.
Yeah.
If you're actively searching,
Unless
I
you are
mean-
in a market that there's no homes for sale, and I'll use like $1 million market. There's not a lot of listings in that price range, right?
Sure.
At least in this area.
Yeah.
That I can see taking a little bit longer, but for the most part, if you're looking in a subdivision type community, if you're looking for 4 months, we're probably gonna have a sit down, come to Jesus meeting, because
Jordan, what's your average? Like, I guess it depends on how actively they're
Well,
they're
true.
hunting.
true. And it also everyone's situation is a little bit different. I mean, in his situation, it sounds like it was just a
It's
little,
maybe I can't tell if it's a man or a woman. It's few weird 5724. So I don't know if it's a man.
Yeah, I mean, in their situation, it sounds like they've been in their home a while, and it's just getting to be a little bit too much for them. So it's not like you're pressed, like, oh, I have to move right now. Like, and if this is going to be your forever home, and again, this is where I say it's not too long. Like, you don't have to move. You know, sure, you may want to move right away, but that's where at least I, as an agent, would have said, hey, this is your forever home. I mean, if you've been in that house for 21 years, you probably are a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to want to move again. Don't just move to move. I mean, you're moving for a reason. So let's take your time, find something that you want, and try to get you in something that you like. Not, oh, I gotta have a roof over my head.
I think it depends too on like
Which they have.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Like, so you try to frame it like you're in some huge rush, and I mean,
It's not like she was homeless, right?
Yeah,
she had a house for
unless
21
you're that
years.
financially stressed.
Well,
which
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it says she was, but
I'm looking at the comments here, and she's got a dog, or they have a dog, whoever the OP has a dog, and so finding short-term rental could be kind of prove difficult with I guess apartments or even houses.
But again, you've lived in your home for 21 years.
Yeah.
If you've lived in your home for 21 years, you're not in desperate. I mean, I don't see why you would be desperate to move. Your house payment should be fairly low after 21 years. Two, you've got to have some major change built up in equity. So there's just some.
So this comment says this exact same situation happened to me. One of my favorite comments says, "Delete Zillow. You'll always find a better house."
Well,
right?
all that,
So,
I was reading through that. I mean, that is true, right? Once you're always gonna find.
You're always and you don't know, like, because they're Instagram homes, like I call them. Like, you know what the pictures look like. You haven't gone through the house. It happened to me. I was looking at houses, put an offer. Someone outbid me. I moved and got a house I didn't like as much. A couple months later, it came back on the market. I was crushed, but didn't necessarily mean I would have been able to get it. Several years went by. I was driving by that house and realized I didn't like the area as much as I thought I did back then. So I was kind of relieved. It worked out the way that it did. I tend to believe we end up where we're supposed to be, and I would recommend embracing that. It's a big deal to own a house these days, so try to change your perspective on that. I know a lot of people in their 50s and still rent, and probably will never own their home. Plus, I ended up falling in love with my house. It has a lot of issues. It's become really old, yada yada. So, I think. Well, it would depend on. To me, it's a math problem. Right, so what's cost of?
I'm thinking this person needs to refer to the gentleman that we talked to we were on Reddit last week, who was talking about the market was going to crash.
Yeah.
And nobody was wanting to buy houses for 40 years.
Yep.
And this one says, "Oh, we can't find a house. We were getting outbid," and it goes back to just my brain power.
Yeah, Reddit's not your Reddit you won't like Reddit. Like it'll consume you. I know you. But to me it's a math problem, right? So like let's just look at math, and it depends on if I'm again, I don't know, $300,000 house maybe. If you're gonna sell it, what's it, 9% to sell ish? You know, I mean, yeah, like just like a ballpark. So
by the time you do title.
Yeah, so that's 27 grand now. So it's 27 grand that you're going to lose in the equity on the sale of the house. Does this perceived better house, have $27,000 or more worth of things? I think it's a prudent question. Is this? Are you 40 and it's not your last house? Are you 85 and it's like your final destination? Like those are also big questions.
Yeah.
If something like Amanda. A big thing for us is that we have a pool, right? And it's got like a deck around it. Like a lot of times to find a house with a pool, a lot of people don't like it. Like doesn't add a whole lot. It doesn't add. Does it appraise any value? Does it add? So an in-ground pool. Hang on a second. An in-ground pool adds how much value to a house?
Well, sometimes it'll actually decrease.
That's crazy.
Who wants? I mean, because
it's $100,000 no expense. It's an expense. It's an expense. It's $100,000 expense for a pool. And it adds zero to the appraisal?
I won't say it adds zero. One, it's going to depend on the appraiser. Two, it depends on it depends on the pool. Is it a fiberglass insert pool? Is it a gunite pool?
We'll call it, what's a gunite pool?
Concrete.
Oh, concrete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're still going to get nickels on it, and I won't even say pennies.
Yeah.
It might be pennies on the
Yeah.
dollar. Honestly, I looked at a house with an indoor pool,
Yeah.
and I
Indoor
was
and
Indoor.
and
Indoor
indoor in-ground pool.
Dude,
Um,
that seems like a liability to me because of the moisture. Right? How do you handle
Well,
the
it
moisture?
was a separate room, and it was all cedar. I mean, it was
Mm.
a very, very nice house. Somebody I know wanted to buy it, and I told her absolutely not. But it was one of those things. I was having a problem coming up with a value
Yeah.
because I'm like, how do I put a number on this room?
Yeah.
I had the square footage, right? It added another like 2,000 square feet,
Yeah, but it's
to
not.
the
It's just a
structure,
not
pool.
like the same.
but
yeah.
it's heated and cooled, right? And so heated and cooled is one of the things that it has to be. And so I called an appraiser of 30 some years that I know, and
What they add?
he said maybe 20 grand.
That's crazy. That's not even concrete. Like that's
Seriously.
insane.
But
That-
he's like, nobody wants it.
Wow.
He goes, there's just, how can I give you a value for
Mm.
something nobody wants? And you have to remember, what is an appraisal?
Yeah, it's one
What-
person's opinion that day.
It is, but what are they supposed to use? What a consumer is willing to buy it for, and what a seller is willing to sell it for.
Yeah.
And what I always go back to when I do run into these in-ground pools, because that's usually the biggest problem that we have,
Sure.
coming of value and people getting upset. Did you have a lot of fun in it over the years?
Yeah, sure. We had parties all the time, and yeah.
That's where you get your return on value.
That so that is that because that's a point with Amanda and I is she's big and to the dude she worked on me for years for a pool like and if it came down to COVID honestly is what it was, and so we got like you can
Should've bought a
actually
boat.
no
Yeah,
no
you
no
did
no
buy
no
a boat.
so if so we can actually see the evolution of our pool investment, right? We had like this little, I call them white trash pools, right? Like the ones with the inflatable like balloon around it. It's just a blue inner tube, like, so we had one of those, and then but she would want another one, and like if we were ever to move, she's like, I want it needs a pool, so we're either gonna have to redo what we did, and we got like
Do you guys use it
like
often?
she lives there. She like in the
Seriously,
warmer
then that's
yeah,
worth it
yeah
for
no
you
in
guys.
the warmer weather, like legit, like it's not like, oh, we never, like she literally if it's not raining and it's in season, she's out by the pool, like, so, and the kids are they
Yeah.
learn to swim there, but that's a big thing for her, so to the point of like if I bought a house without a pool and it's got an in-ground pool, you take a $27,000 bath, but you got the pool. I guess it depends on what your needs and wants list. That bonus, if it's huntable, if you got huntable trees, and I can't hunt now, that's like that's
Do I
sick,
need to put
you
in a
know.
pool?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I'm probably gonna trump the hunting over the pool, but
The one funny thing about the in-ground pools though is, I mean, if you think about it, you have a normal city lot, and you put in a huge in-ground pool in the back, you don't have a yard now. It's
Yeah.
just a pool. And
yeah, I've seen those.
And
Yeah,
you have to understand now that if it's an in-ground pool,
yeah,
now it's taxable because it's an improvement to the property. An above-ground pool is not an improvement to the property,
Oh, okay,
so your taxes are going to go up, and
interesting.
your homeowner's insurance is going to go up as well.
I did know the insurance. Yeah, yeah. I'm a walking liability. I got a pool and a trampoline.
Dude,
with
trampoline-
without a net.
Okay, this is a
without a
huge-
net.
Huge, like squirrel.
Tangent.
No,
He
no.
gets trampolines.
Okay, I hate trampolines. My kids were never allowed on a trampoline, and people were laughing because you have to remember Jordan was cage fighter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's 16 years old. You can get into a cage, but don't you dare
Yeah.
step a foot
No.
on a trampoline. We had a friend who had one. 2 girls, Jordan and Josh, were over there, and he knew my boys weren't allowed on it.
How
end of
how
discussion.
how old are you at this time, Jordan?
Oh, I'd still go on. That was besides.
Yeah.
It was just I'd get yelled at.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you guys were what, 12-ish, 14-ish when
Yeah,
you're
something
hanging out
like
over
that.
there? And I'm like, absolutely not. He's like, wait, you're letting them like do jujitsu but they can't get on a trampoline. I'm like, no, I'm just letting you know, don't let them on there. The next summer he calls me. It's like, dude, don't you ever say I told you so. But I won't mention his daughter's name. Snapped her arm. He goes, I said, what'd you do? He said, I sliced it up and I put it out at the road. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, they're just a dangerous, dangerous thing, and I don't like.
They are. So they are like.
Especially when you have more than one person on it at a time.
They
That's
are.
really where
They
the problem is.
are. They are. But it's kind of a rite of passage. like it's kind of like I remember as a kid, like me and my older cousins would be. My aunt had a trampoline, and like it's like, dude, when they super bounce you and you're 4 or 5, like you would think. I mean, just imagine the lofting, right? And it is a terrifying thing because you can't. You're
Sure.
just you're playing
Go to
crack
Lake
crack
Ann.
the egg. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
to Lake Ann. They have the blob.
The blob is fun. Blob is
right?
fun.
It's
Yeah,
it's like a big balloon in water
yeah,
that's half inflated,
yeah.
and they would jump off, and you would just
Launch 'em.
skyrocket. Oh yeah.
Get big boys to launch you though.
Yeah.
So
Back to Reddit.
to me, yeah,
Back
to
to
me,
Reddit.
to me, this is a math problem, and I think it's so because we can see people like when you send them listings, and you can see who's viewed into your portal or whatever. So I'll see clients after they've closed, still searching at homes, and I'm like, just like be content with, yeah. I mean, just stop, right? It's kind of like to me, it's kind of like it's not an exact parallel, but once you're married, don't go back looking on the market. Like there's like that. Just don't you made a decision. Stick with the decision, and that's kind of how I would take this
So
one.
actually, what I found most of the time, what it is they get so used to, let's just check Zillow. And see
It's a
what's on the
it's a
market.
habit, yeah.
They get up or they're late at night scrolling. Let's look and see what's on the market. And I've actually, I don't tell people not to, because funny enough, I've actually had referrals from past clients, and it was, hey, I was scrolling on Zillow, and I knew my friend would really like this house, so I
No
sent
way.
it to him, and they want to go see it tomorrow. Are you available?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
am.
So hey, if you want to look and send it to your friends, then by all means,
That's sick.
send it to your friends.
That's sick. All right, so we're gonna take a break from the Reddit rundown. We got a few more coming after that, but let's go back into. So we talked about the costs leading up to a sale. What are some costs of a home that can happen after the sale? And then we can also pair this with our Tales from the Trenches bit, which is crazy stories from the actual real estate industry that we all have. So we're gonna start with you did the who did I go to last? It's Jerry's turn. Jerry.
Sure.
So, what are some ongoing expenses of a house? I'd say just maybe hidden
Budget.
costs or
Yeah,
unknown.
I would always say budget 2% of whatever your value is of the house. Set that aside for maintenance purposes. I mean, and I think this is where not just home ownership, but our government is horrible at.
2% of the purchase price, not
No, the value.
yeah, or the value.
Because you have to remember though, if you've been here for 20 years, you can't put 2% of what you paid for it. Now you got to put 2% of what your house is worth today. I mean, because a roof lasts 30 years, give or take. In
No.
Michigan, maybe 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe 20. Yeah,
maybe 20. So like for my house, you don't want to know what the price of the roof would be for my house. Then you've got concrete, and you've got furnace, hot water tank, appliances. I mean, you have hardwood floors. Those have to be maintained and refinished every so often. So all those have a life expectancy on them, and a homeowner needs to, in the back of their head, say, okay, if I'll use a furnace, right? If a furnace is going to cost me $2,000, and I'm using numbers,
Sure.
and it's going to last me 20 years, then I need to be putting away $100 a year for a new furnace,
Right.
right? That's just replacement value on all that, and they should be doing that for everything in a house. So when it comes up, because it will, you'll have the funds to do that. It's just not, you buy it and the house is going to last 100 years with never doing anything. And unfortunately, I think even our government never, right? We've got $1 billion budget, but they never budget for future things. It's just that's what we're going to spend this year. And so I think we need to budget for future expenditures.
Sure.
And that's not just maintenance, right? Those are replacement things. You still have to maintain the furnace, right?
Yeah.
You don't just buy it and never do anything to it for 30 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
You should have it inspected probably once a year.
If you have, I guess I'm a little out of the loop on this. Like if I'm renting a house, who replaces things like the furnace filter?
The furnace filter, typically, I mean, and you'd have to read your lease agreement.
Yeah.
But most of the time, that's going to be on the landlord. Some landlords have in there that anything less than $100 you fix. Right.
Yeah,
If it's a leaky
sure.
faucet,
Yeah.
they don't need to be running over there to replace a 50-cent rubber
Yeah,
piece.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But it just depends on the lease agreement that you're signing, so that's going to vary.
You know, that's
Unless it's commercial. Commercial's a different monster.
sure. Yeah, yeah. So that is when you so again, we'll just use a $200,000 house or maybe 250. You're saying 2%, $6,000. So budget $6,000 a year for repairs, or capital improvements, or
Yeah,
like in
up
your
to.
head,
And
up
again, it
to?
depends on the house, the age of your house, right?
Mhm.
If you're in an older house, I would say that 2%. If you're in a brand new construction, you're not going to be replacing things shouldn't be replacing
Sure.
things
Yeah.
for at least a 15-year mark
Yeah.
minimum. I mean, because the only thing I would say less than 15 or maybe some appliances like a washer, dishwashers don't last.
Yeah.
5 to 7 years.
No,
anyway.
they don't.
I don't know what they're doing with them.
I
but
do. It's.
I think they make them like with like water, like parts that dissolve with water.
Yeah,
That's how long they last.
It's just
it's horrible.
So we're gonna go into the tales from the trenches a little bit. I've got one on this note today. So not today, but this past week, we're helping my brother and sister move. They bought that joint in Carlton, and like we're moving in boxes, painting's done. And Amanda goes to they're on a septic. Amanda goes to just flush the toilet, and I think she's flushing something down it. It just wouldn't work, and it was in their lower level. Well, on moving day, my brother-in-law and I got to vacuum out the septic sewage well and replace
done before closing?
and replace the ejector pump.
Oh.
It was work. That's the thing, was work. It checked it. So earlier that week, he had a plumber out to inspect the sump pump, and he's like, "Yep, they're all good." They were all good. So they which he knew he bench-eared, like he knew the septic, like we talked about, like he's like, yeah, that's gonna need like probably the next couple of years, like the actual tank needs replaced. But like the sump pump was working, the ejector pump going from the lower level out to the was working. Was working.
It's hard to it's hard because it's an electronic part. If it's working, you don't
and
know.
that's the problem, right? Like it's working on when he was there.
Wednesday.
When he was there, exactly, he was there. It worked. He tested it. He did this. What do you expect? Like on Tuesday, it doesn't work now. So, and dude, that was I'm gonna talk about a poopy job. Like that was just he used my, so we had to suck because we had nothing else.
That sucks.
So we used my shop vac, and
No.
he bought me a new
No.
one, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
bought me.
no.
Yeah,
You
he
can
bought me.
keep it.
He
Thank
bought
you.
no. He's like, I'll buy you. And I'm like, dude, this thing has seen way worse than. But it was that was. I mean, it was like what, but that's part of it, right? Like you can't see below. I got like work pants on. I got a project I gotta go do at the house. Finished up today. That if you're unwilling to, I think you have to change your mindset. Like understand you just like a relationship, just like a car, you're gonna have to work on it. Like if you want something that is maintenance free, rent. You're gonna pay for it. Understanding you're paying.
A huge
There's
cost.
there's an
It's
immense cost to
huge
it.
cost. I mean,
But like your
You've
people
got
are paying
any-
for they don't want the
if you've got
responsibility.
any ambition in life, if you have any desire to grow your wealth, don't rent. Don't rent.
I would
mean,
say
it's worth
5-year window. That's my cap. I'll put asterisk, right? If you're not staying put for, if you know with certainty, like I'm moving in 2 or 3 years, well then you're.
I would go down to even as little as 3.
That's
3.
tight.
Because if I'm getting a
That's
5%,
tight.
if I'm getting a 5% return on real estate, which is average,
Yeah.
that's a 15%.
Yeah.
If I'm getting, I got costs to sell that are
Mm.
going to be 6 to 8%. Even if I hit 10%, I'm
Yep.
still going to be about 5% ahead. And that's not including
Yeah.
me paying off the loan. That's not including the tax benefits. So, and the house is going to increase in those 3 years.
But what about the coming market crash that
Yeah.
everyone's talking
Yeah. I'll
about?
go back to
That have 40% worldwide data, right?
Worldwide data to back it up.
All right, so we've got another Reddit rundown. We'll do next in line. So this is actually not a Reddit rundown. This is from it's Publix. So
Temu?
here we go. Yeah, no, not Temu. Tito Suave. Let me go. Tito
Suave.
somehow still broke. Mortgage 4,600. Daycare.
Whoa.
I know.
Sweating over here. Please do not spend half your income on your home.
We covered this last. We
Yeah.
covered this last week.
Isn't this a guy from Toledo?
No,
from,
no, no,
Toronto?
no. Making $90,000 a year somehow still broke. The mortgage 4,600, daycare 1,200 a month, credit card debt 35,000, leftover at the end of the month about $300, and a prayer. What do you? Is that? What is that? 55 grand a year? Yeah. So they're spending 55 grand a year on tax or on mortgage. Ain't no spreadsheet on earth fixing a $4,600 mortgage on a 90K income.
Let me see that,
No
35,000.
no color coded Google sheet is wiping out 35K in credit card debt. This ain't bad budgeting. It's straight up denial. At some point, you got to stop pretending financial discipline can fix a math problem that's already broken. Either face it or so this is the reaction to the
The comment back.
this
Yeah.
is the I wish I had read it first. Oh. Well, I guess we're going to read
I mean,
it out.
that's pretty much what.
That's
what I
my
would've
reaction.
responded with.
Here we go. My husband doesn't believe me when I say we have no money. My current job doesn't pay great, but I work from home and maintain the house. We make roughly the same. Our bills are just too much. We have too many credit cards. He doesn't realize the amount that is put on each month, not including the interest. It's $15 here, $20 there, $60 for a video game. I know it's going to send Jerry. Then $150 in food for us and our toddler. How are you feeding a family? Yeah,
150?
What, for the week? Like
Not
how
even-
how are you?
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Here's my
Okay.
Aldi dog,
They're
Aldi, yeah.
They're spending $1,200 a month on daycare. She works
Yeah.
from home.
And
What
so
in the world, like?
So I'm gonna comment on that. So he wants a hobby toy each week, claiming it's just $25. What can I do? At this point, I'm pinching dimes and nickels from him, so it looks like I'm depriving him of life, but we can't afford it. At it, we make $90K a year and live in California. Of course you do. Like our mortgage is $4,600, $1,200 in daycare a month, and after paying bills, we have $300 left. We have $35K. All right, who wants it? Who's going first?
Do we want it?
Jordan
No.
can have it.
All right, Jordan, you go first.
What?
What are you telling our friends Killer Pinata? At the
She should have smashed that pinata. Is what she should have done.
Is there advice that you can give?
So I think
I mean, you got to change a lot. I mean, one, like we've already established, you're spending way too much on a mortgage payment. I mean, if she's, and that's the other thing that I want to get back to. Why are you making roughly the same? I mean, you're telling me he's only making around 40, 50 grand a year? I mean, if you're, because that's what she said,
Yeah.
we each make about roughly the same.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
What the heck are you doing?
You know, there's there's a threshold number at which it doesn't make sense for a mother to work.
Yeah.
Like there's
And that's what I was gonna-
there's a minimum threshold number in which by the time you add in
Mhm.
childcare, travel to and from, because then who's doing domestic things? Is it you and it? Because this is so cliche, especially I see it a lot. Well, with dual income, but husband is still expecting wife to do 100% of the domestic stuff, fellas, that ain't it, right?
No.
Like it's one thing if you have kind of traditional, and you're the breadwinner. Yeah,
She stays home,
I
yeah.
expect I'm not expecting spotless because we got 3 kids, but I'm expecting a presentable house when I get home. But if they're both working, so there's a threshold number, and you're paying 18 grand of your net income, which is really, add 20% to that, is about 22,000, 23,000 of gross. And so you're spending half of your income now on childcare. And then there's the, you want to talk about a hidden cost. What is the price you pay for someone else to raise your child?
Huge.
Yeah.
I think it's incalculable.
I mean, they their entire lives, I think they had one babysitter for 4 hours.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
Unless we're coming
high. I think it's high, right? Like I don't count them because they're your family, right?
It's a-
No,
no,
that's
so-
why I was joking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was over at my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
But no. But back to this, I mean, if in all seriousness, trying to get the joking aside because they're total muck-ups, they just need to sit down.
How'd they get the house? That's what I don't understand. How are
right.
they getting these
Yeah, and
houses?
that's what I'm like, and that's why I have such a problem with these because you don't qualify
Yeah.
for 4,600, making 90 a year.
Yeah.
End of discussion. So, you just don't.
It's just rage bait. It's just rage
So,
bait for Jerry.
Did you lie to get
there
this
you go.
mortgage?
Yeah.
Because there's no way on God's green earth you qualify.
Mm.
All that being said, if that is somebody that comes into my office and says, "Here's my problem," we're putting your house up for sale right now. Excuse me.
Yep.
Because you don't qualify, first and foremost.
Correct.
You're never going to get ahead. You're never going to get caught up. You're never going to put yourself in a better financial situation.
Yep.
Trying to keep that kind of house payment. So even if you have to live in something that is not the most desirable situation,
Yep.
you have to sacrifice today for tomorrow.
So this is where I don't agree with all of his advice, but his approach dramatically helped Amanda and I, Dave Ramsey,
Mhm.
is the mindset of you need to be so furious with your situation and angry at your situation.
At yourself.
Yeah, well, of course,
mean,
of course,
honestly.
of course, of
But
course.
most people don't
of
have
cour-
that
of course,
maturity to
of
say,
course.
"I mucked up."
Yeah, of course, but yourself and in turn your situation, right?
Yeah.
Like because there is no steak good enough on the planet that tastes good when you're that much underwater, right? There's no crew. You can't even enjoy a vacation. You can how does one even enjoy a vacation
You'd be
knowing
surprised. Because they put it on the credit card.
Who's paying the credit card?
Well, we pay the minimum balance,
No.
$35 a month.
No,
at 22%.
no,
And this is the
no,
moronic
no.
discipline that you're
Oh,
dealing with,
man.
where he has to have his $25, $30 toy. You're an adult.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not mad about the $20 toy.
Dude, I am.
I'm not
you
ma-
don't have,
I'm not
you
ma-
don't have the maturity level to be spending it.
I'm
Yeah.
not mad. I'm not mad about a 20 because like so when we did the financial money makeover or whatever, what's it called? Financial Peace University,
Yeah.
Total Money Makeover. It was like it did kind of suck because like it seemed like all of our and that they actually changed it. So there was back in when we did it like whenever it was 2010 maybe. They didn't have a budget line for any extras. Like they were just like you know gazelle mentality run. They didn't have that. Now they do. Like we offered it at the gym. Now they do. They have a which I get it. What happened? Hang on, keep going. I get it because they're like if you're making 90 grand a year and I can't spend 20, 50, so budget for it. Budget the $50, but that's all you get for the month. And
The
do
month,
do all
sure.
the do all the other cuts.
Wait,
yeah.
the month, sure, Dave, but $50 a week, that's $200 a year, or $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. You got bills to pay.
I hear you. I know.
And I'm willing to sit down with anyone to help them get on track.
Sure.
But if I say, hey, you're not spending $2,400 a year on your stupidity,
Yeah.
and you're not willing to do that, then I'm not willing to spend my time
Yeah.
on your ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah.
But I mean, no. I mean, yeah, I cringed reading this one. I was sweating. My palms were sweaty. I'm like,
What you say? That's a boy. That's a boy. What did Sherry say? She said that's a boy.
oh yeah, that's a boy mentality. I can't remember.
All right, so we got one more here. What's going on with my camera, dude? It's giving me issues. All right, so this next one's coming. I'm gonna come to Jordan. Let's see here. North Carolina. I'm under contract to purchase. Received an offer to cancel. I placed a contingent offer and it was accepted. Realtor called to say the seller's realtor. I hate when non-realtor. This is why they have it. So it sounds like buyer broker called to say that the listing agent said they have a better offer with a quicker close and want to offer us our due diligence and earnest money back plus $8,000 for our trouble and an undisclosed amount to our realtor for his trouble. First off, is this even legit? Do we need a lawyer? We now have cold feet on the deal. How do we proceed? I'm gonna punt this to Jordan first.
So first off, let's take a step back. was their offer contingent to begin with? Was there, because that's what, it sounds like there wasn't a contingency, because normally with a 72-hour contingency, you don't
Well-
also offer a buyout.
Sure, but you're also looking at Michigan law. We don't, let's put a caveat out there. We do not know North Carolina law, so we're using Michigan law
sure,
in this
sure.
scenario.
Yeah. Valid.
Yeah, so let me get back to my train of thought.
Sorry.
Is it contingent?
Oh yeah, 'cause
right?
is it contingent? Because I mean, at least in Michigan, if you have a contingency and we say, hey, you know, I'm gonna buy your house, but it's contingent on, I'm just making it up because it doesn't clarify in this
Right.
scenario, but it's contingent on me selling my home. Then, if you get, let's say Jerry's that other buyer, Jerry goes to you and says, hey, I see your house is contingent. I'll offer you X. You take it. Now you have what's called the 72-hour clause that kicks in for me to either say, hey, I'm removing that contingency, or I'm backing out of the deal. In this case, it doesn't sound like that. It just says, hey, we got a better offer. We'll give you $8,000 and your agent X amount of dollars to walk away. Now again, in Michigan, that's allowable as long as you have everybody's approval. You know, you can assign the contract. So
You wouldn't necessarily be assigning.
You wouldn't-
You'd just
yeah,
be
you wouldn't
backing
be
out
assigning,
on
you'd be
your.
backing out.
You'd be signing off on your part,
Yeah.
saying I'll back out.
I mean, all things considered, it's
legal.
pretty.
As long as all parties in agreement
legal,
to
and
it.
it's a pretty good gig.
And-
We
and-
just had one happen at a condo, actually. It was a small condo in Belleville, and it was our listing. The guy, or our agent, accepted an offer, and I think like a couple of days later, even maybe a week later, he asked me, hey, I've got another buyer that's calling me right now, and he says that he knows that we're in contract, but he said he'll give the other buyer, and I can't remember what it was, but it was a decent amount of money, and he's like, hey, I'll give them a certain amount of money, and I'll even go above what they were offering, and I'll make sure everybody was paid in the process. And he's like, is this fine? And I said, yeah, it's fine as long as you get your seller's permission and the other buyers are okay with it. And it ended up coming down to it that the seller's just like, no, I want to give it to these guys. I don't even want to deal with the headache of it all. But it is legal.
As far as quote unquote losing a house and getting paid, what's strange is paying the agent, the buyer agent. I guess you'd want to, right?
Well,
To avoid it's some type of suit,
because
right?
in this
Yeah.
situation,
They're under contract, yeah.
you're under contract, and I think that's going to be the caveat here.
Yeah.
You know, so from a brokerage standpoint, the agent, right, and you're looking at contractually,
Mm-hmm.
the agent did his job, found
Yeah.
his
Oh, yeah.
client a home, got them under contract, and now they're only out of contract because of this situation.
Yeah.
I think he may.
Still own
Again, we're
it,
not
yeah.
attorneys, right? So let me put that asterisk out there. We're not attorneys. I think the agent, the selling agent, may have legal right to say, "Hey, I did my job. You just chose to get
Correct.
a buyout
Correct, yeah.
at my
Yeah.
expense."
Which it does say that the agent was getting paid.
Right. But
That's
what
what
I'm
that's
saying.
what we're
Yeah.
talking
As
about.
long as
Yeah.
the agent signs off of it, the broker signs
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
of it, you know.
Well, that's a pretty.
But
good
it would be legal. I mean, as long as all parties involved are in agreement with it.
This I like this guy. He says you can also counter that you want 15.
True.
Yeah, because so if they're willing to.
And we don't know the sale price.
Yeah,
either.
we don't know the sale price, and then but there are a lot of people are saying, well, if you have cold feet anyway, then just take the money and walk, right? So
Well, and that's what I was saying to, the agent. Again, it was his seller, not the buyer. But if I've got the buyer, I mean, unless you really, and he was offered, and I think it was close to $10,000. The house was only, it was a 1 or 2 bedroom condo in Belleville, but it was like for $120. So you're talking.
that's a good portion of the
So
price.
you're talking.
then.
I mean, if I'm buying a $120,000 house, someone's going to give me $10,000 to go find something else. That's a
big
chunk.
it's a big deal.
So I was like, dude, I'd present it, and I'd almost recommend my buyer to take it because, dude, well, for $10,000, you can wait a few more months wherever
Yeah.
you're at and wait for another condo to come back up.
Yeah.
But like I said, his seller ended up like not even wanting to present it.
I got one coming up in Melvindale. I think is Melvindale. Do you guys move a lot of condos in Melvindale? Did they move? Did they move pretty? It's like a condo townhouse. I know it's a
Probably gonna
tangent.
depend on where it's at, and then what school system, how many bedrooms is it?
Okay.
Because Melvindale
It's
has
a two. It's a 2-1.
Melvindale School, Allen Park Schools.
Yeah, it's a two.
Depends.
It's a 2-1. I believe it's Melvindale. Yeah. So, all right. Final. Or no, we got two more. Reddit rundown. This one's gonna go back to Jerry. If houses are sitting, why are prices still crazy? Like it's like where, pause. It's
Wait,
like-
you just said
I
that
know.
people are buying you out in
I
the
know.
contract.
I know. Who? It's like, it was Jordan Peterson who's like, everyone wants to say, oh, you've given free speech. He's like, you want to say, oh, we've democratized the city square. He's like, what you've done is you've given imbeciles a voice. Is what you've done. Like, where are you if houses are sitting? You got a lot of houses sitting, Jordan? You got
Actually,
you got
I have
right
one.
now,
yeah.
it's definitely slowing down
It
right
is.
Yeah.
now. But I mean,
And it's nothing to
this was
do with
also-
the
and- I mean,
economy.
There's a difference between a hot market and a normal market, and I
Yeah.
think that's what people are confused. Like if something
There's
doesn't
still
sell,
a
if something
hot
if
market.
something doesn't sell in 4 days, they're like something's wrong with it. Like no, it's been a hot market.
But it is
60,
starting
90
to slow
days.
down in certain markets. Like we were just talking
Sure.
to somebody in Florida. He said his
Yeah.
house was valued around 600 and something 2-3
Mm.
years ago, and right now he just talked to another agent about possibly listing it, and he was like at 375.
I'm
385.
sorry,
Yeah.
that's not a slowdown, dude. That's
Florida is in a
hang on,
unique
hang on.
position
That's
right now.
because of the insurance, right?
Yeah, you've got your
Yeah.
insurance,
Mm.
and then you've got a lot of them that were hit with hurricanes, so now their HOAs, homeowner associations, have to put roofs on these condos,
Yeah.
At a cost of $500,000.
Sure.
And so you've got HOAs right now that are like $1,500, $2,000 a month
Yeah.
And that's
because they
where it's
split it
tanked.
over, and this
Yeah.
is where it's killing
And
a lot.
so that's
And then-
that's a unique. It's a unique situation though, because if you're forget whatever your mortgage is, if you got
That's
two
on
two
top
you
of.
got 2 grand, you got 24 grand in HOA.
Yeah, I got a relative.
No.
My relative, Sherry, has a relative right now that has a place in Florida, and in order for her to renew her homeowner's insurance, she needs a new roof. She needs something else, and she's like, it's like $25,000-$30,000, and she's like, I don't have it. I'm gonna have to sell my house
Yeah, interesting.
because you have to have it. Because if you have a mortgage,
Yeah.
you have to have the homeowner's insurance. And if you don't have your homeowner's insurance, then the mortgage company is going to slap their own on there,
Yeah.
and it's at a premium price.
I see.
So
That
you'll
you don't
never be
wanna
able.
pay.
If you can't afford your homeowner's insurance now, you're definitely not going to be able to afford it if the mortgage company puts it on it.
Sure.
So
All right, so back to this Reddit rundown. So we've got if houses are sitting, why are prices still crazy? In a lot of places, the home prices themselves have doubled since COVID. And when you factor in the interest rates, you're looking at paying 3 times as much money in the long run. That's insane. Why is this happening? And if houses are not selling, why are the prices not coming down to earth? Oh, I just need to play violin music while we do this. They are, and muffled voice says they are coming down in previously hot markets. Yeah, blah blah blah. So you're talking 5 years ago. Like you're talking. Why are we even talking about 2020?
houses should
It's
pretty much double.
it's
yeah.
2025. Why are you talking about pre-COVID? It's like I still have people talk about 2008. Well, I sold
Back in
dude,
2008.
I sold a house in Taylor. It's like I think 197, and the dude's uncle's like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good house, but it'll never be worth more than $200,000. And I said, well, historically and statistically, you're wrong. Just because you wouldn't pay this now, and I think his uncle didn't even own a house. Like don't quote me on that. I know, but you're dealing with 5-year-old prices. I'm gonna go back into who'd I punt this to? Yeah, Jerry. Why can we expect the prices to continue to rise? Maybe not the same rate they have over the past 5
Sure,
years,
sure.
certainly.
Our economy isn't showing any signs right now of slowing down. Inflation is slowing down. So if inflation's slowing down, that is going to overall affect the inflation rate that homes are going to increase. We have a housing shortage. That has something that has been going on probably for at least minimum 5-6 years now. A housing shortage.
Sure.
So if there's a housing shortage, I mean, basic economics, right? Supply and demand. If there's a shortage, I don't foresee housing going down in value. So, again, I don't see the scenario where, why is it going up? I mean, common sense.
It was so let's have a short history lesson. In 2020, there was a virus.
Made up.
There was a I don't know what I'm allowed. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on this
On
stuff.
this, you can say whatever you want. I don't
There
care.
were-
We're not medical professionals giving medical advice.
In 2020, there was a nationwide, worldwide, but nationwide,
Economic.
there was a nationwide scare, and so which then resulted in copious amounts of people getting that happened, but also getting they weren't going to work, and they were
Wearing
getting
respirators
they
to
were getting
Meijer.
paid to stay. Have you seen the grocery guys wearing
He's
like
got a
Darth
picture.
Maul masks?
No.
Like,
Send him a picture
dude,
so he can post it.
so there's and the nation, most of the nation was getting paid $50,000 a year to stay home, okay, and on unemployment. Where's that money come? It's supply and demand. Where's
It was
that money?
printed.
Where's that? It wasn't even, but it's not even printed anymore.
Okay, we made it up.
It's someone. It's the Federal Reserve over there typing on their ledger, like, yeah, here's another. So the Federal Reserve balance, it more than doubled. It almost 2.5 times, went from 4 trillion to like 9.5 trillion, and it got sent everywhere but here. It got sent to Ukraine. It got sent to like all over. It got sent everywhere.
Well, 30 billion just got sent to Argentina.
It got, and you could say, well, I don't care.
That was at Meijer.
Oh, stop it. So just send that to me. Send that to me. Airdrop it to me. And so, in the text, that's fine. So you could say, well, Dave, we're not talking about that pandemic. You have to talk about those things. And so when you talk about government spending, whenever you hear government spending, whenever you hear bills, whenever you hear tax dollars, think my pocket. Think your pocket, because ultimately that's where any and all money comes from. And so now, what you have is those prices were low, and then they, in turn, to stimulate an economy. To stimulate an economy. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew better. Hang on a second.
Did we get disconnected?
We're going. It's just blacked out. Here we go. So, never been 2%.
Never.
Well, that's right. If we go back to, that's where I said it was unhealthy when, and that's where I'm like, it shouldn't go back.
So people got, just like in anything else, they got accustomed to free money, and his unreasonably low rates. I remember you had a cheat sheet book of, like, you were telling me about this, like of a realtor's book of, like, well, there's a flip sheet of, if the purchase price is this and the interest rates are this, your payment, the rates of 6% or whatever are back to historical averages.
And those, honestly, that is still a low average.
Sure.
And I've always, and this is, like I said, I got into it in '91. Anything below 8, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Anything.
That's the eight sounds high. But it's
because
all
all you're used to,
sure. Yeah,
right?
eight does sound high.
But if you look and did a 30-year
Sure.
historical average, I don't know what a 30-year average looks like. Of course, it's going to be skewed by the 2.5-3% for the year that it was there. But
Yeah.
6% is great still. It
Yeah.
really is.
So that is, that's part of it. And so now you've got so now I have the and then money continued to be printed. That's the and it's also supply and demand. Like there's if there's a shortage of houses, by nature the price goes up. And then combine that with everything
People
else.
get free money, prices go up.
Combine that with everything else, and you can. Again, you can complain about the situation. You can say it's not fair. You can cry social injustice.
Well,
you can do whatever you want.
It goes back, though, Dave. It goes all the way back to, like you said, COVID. What were people at, and I'm not trying to be demeaning when
sure.
I say this, but what were people at McDonald's making? right?
during COVID.
Before COVID,
Oh, like 10, 11?
maybe,
Yeah, maybe, sure.
And then all of a sudden they were making $15, $16.
Yeah.
And so the burger prices went up, right?
Yeah,
So, and I've always told people, listen, if you think
raise the
corporations-
minimum wage. It solves everything.
Yeah, if you think raising the minimum wage is going to solve everything, you're highly mistaken. All it's going to do is cause your hamburger, right? Your McDonald's Happy Meal to go from $4.99 to $9.99, which is what's happened, right? Now you can't go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, any of them for less than $12.
Yeah, you can't feed the family for $20 anymore. Yeah, and
7.7 is the 30-year national average.
Told you.
7.7.
7.7%.
Did I not just say 8 is not bad at all?
And
7.7 is the national average.
that 7.7 is accounting for the
That's and that's
two-
that's
two,
a
3%.
for a 30-year
Thank you. Thank you.
mortgage
that's solid.
over the past.
That's
So it's, well, it goes from 71 to 25, so you're actually a little bit more than the past 30 years.
I told you 8% is not bad.
that's see when you're talking, you're sitting here talking to me. I'm like, yo, we got you at 8%. I'm like, dog, that's. But you
So
know.
like, you're
Well,
6%. You're still 25% less than the average.
I think it comes back to the myth of like that home ownership is a right. It's not.
Absolutely, it's a right. It was an
Home
earned
home
right.
home ownership?
or not a right. It's not a right.
Yeah, it's not a right.
Oh, sorry.
It's a privilege.
It's absolutely a privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you strive for, you save for, you discipline yourself for. Back to Mr. I gotta have my Happy Meal toy at $25 a week. Bite me. No, you don't. You discipline yourself for it.
Mm.
You know, I go back to, and I don't know if I talked about it here, but I started at Sam's Club. Right?
Yeah.
And I was making what everybody else there was making, but they weren't disciplined.
Mm.
They're still there. And I'm not trying to dog them out.
Sure.
But when I bought my first house, they're like, how can you afford to buy that house? I know what you're making because you're making the same thing we are. But they're driving a brand new pickup truck. They were going out to eat every day. They were going out to eat on the weekends. They were drinkers and they were smokers. And I added all those extracurricular activities up
Oh, dude.
that they do while I'm driving there, showing them my 87 Lynx with no air because I'm driving the beater car because I didn't want a payment.
Sure.
I was disciplining myself. My house payment was $25 off from what they were wasting every month.
I think so. I think there's a yes, being prudent and disciplining yourself.
And I'm not saying beat yourself so you can't have a toy, right? But instead of buying a brand new toy, buy the used toy.
You know
Oh,
what?
yeah, buy the used toy like he's got outside now. Yeah, buy that
I
one.
did it. Where's it at? I seen a picture of it.
It's on Facebook.
I joke with you guys. I was like, you guys drive like real estate agents. Like I got my 2005 F-150 out there,
With a
and you
wrap.
guys pull up like the Fast and the Furious crew. I was like, you know what? All you're missing
Hey,
is
mine's an
personalized
11.
license plate.
Mine's
They
getting
uh,
it.
yeah, I'm sure you are. So I think there's the aspect of yeah, I mean, say cut the spending, right? Trim the
Right.
fat. But why? How come? There's also an aspect of make more money, and when
That's it.
when you say that to somebody, they're like, "Well,
I
this
can't.
is this
I
is
wish I
this is
could."
all I hit."
Yeah.
No.
Hustle.
Go on Indeed right now. Get a sales job, making $130 a year. You're selling roofs. You're gonna have to talk to people. You're gonna have performance goals. Oh, so yeah, if you don't hit that goal, you're fired. Congratulations. Welcome to the
Listen.
market.
Josh, my son, has a kid in his neighborhood. I wish the kid was old enough to sell real estate. He's like 9 or 10 years old.
How old do you have to be? Accelerated?
18.
Do you have to be?
You
18?
have to be.
Okay.
He's like 9 or 10 years old.
What if you have your parents sign for you?
That's only for cage fighting. He's like 9 or 10 years old, but he's a hustler.
Yeah.
He cuts grass. He shovels snow. If you've got side jobs, he'll do whatever he
That's
can.
great.
He doesn't care. And Josh says he comes by all the time, Dad, looking for work. And I'm like, dude, I wish I had a kid like that who would hustle at 8 years old, 10 years old.
I would love for a kid to shovel my snow. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Just to see him, and I said, what's he say to you? He's like, you want me to cut your grass? He's like, no, I plan on cutting it tomorrow. He goes, but I'll be back next week to see if you get it, if you need anything done. And that's just who the kid is. And that's the kind of hustle mentality you need.
Yeah.
That kid, I don't care the circumstance that he's been born into.
Yeah, correct.
He is going to make it because he's a hustler. That's it.
And you have to. There's a myth that just because you clock in for 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford all. Like my
Wrong answer.
company should be able to just. I work full time, so I should be able to afford house, bills, new car, lease payment, vacation. The,
Goes back to supply and demand.
dude,
I can
dude.
find somebody cheaper to do it. I will as a business owner.
Yeah, well, as a business, and furthermore, it's ROI. It's from the business standpoint, it's ROI, right?
Yeah.
If I'm paying you 50, and you brought in 60, guess what? You're fired. You'd be like, well, I brought in more. No, I'm not hiring you
To break
to
even.
to break even. And people don't want to hear that. Say, well, I'll go do it myself. Do it, because you're like a healthy profit margin on a business, 25%. Right, so you see someone make $100,000, they actually kept 25.
And that's with me doing no labor.
Yeah, and that's doing it right. That's doing no labor, right? So like that's that. Well, yeah,
Very minimal.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So then you're like, well, wait, hang on a second. So now I like the option of just let me just show up and guaranteed pay. Because people they went that 9 and 10-year-old, he doesn't know what next week's gonna look like in his paycheck, but he knows he's gonna go out and hunt for it, right? He's got when you have no other option, people are used to or they expect to clock in, get paid, clock out, regardless of the performance. People hate commission only jobs because that means I actually gotta work. And 100% of business owners and real estate agents, you eat what you kill.
It's stressful.
It's
You know, my dad, you know, and God love him.
that gray in Jerry's beard
Yeah.
didn't come on its own, right?
I mean,
It's,
my dad was a factory worker, and God love him. He worked, 60, 70 hours a week, never was a drinker, partier, so he was just a saver. And when I got to age, he was like, oh, you need to go get a...
Who were you telling me? Who was it that spent money at the company store? Was that you telling me
dad.
that story? So that who?
So my dad's dad was a coal miner.
I see. Okay,
And,
that's yeah.
you worked your soul for the coal mining store, and you really did, because they paid you in coal mining money,
That's their own currency.
their own currency.
Is that is that legal now?
Now it's not. But then, I mean, it
That
is
is
what it
this
is.
is insane. What
So-
year? What year was this?
My dad was born in '45, so back in the '40s.
That sounds like it would have been 200 years ago. When you're talking about coal mining, like so, imagine like you work for Chuck E. Cheese. They pay you in Chuck E. Cheese
Yeah,
tokens.
coins.
You go
Yeah.
to Chuck E. Cheese store to buy. That is
To buy
and
Chuck E.
which
Cheese
which
bread,
is which
Chuck
is
E.
marked
Cheese
up,
cheese.
which is marked up
Yep.
Chuck E. Cheese price.
Yep.
That is crazy.
So they owned your soul. They really did.
Why would it? Is the only because work is
That's all
slow.
you know.
right?
Well, that's all you know,
Back in the hills,
right?
I mean, you think about it. I mean, even now, a lot of those communities are still
They're still
they're
dilapidated.
still real.
Bad.
I mean, I know somebody who that's what her job is she works for a missions group that helps communities in the Appalachian Mountains.
Dog.
And she said you'd be some of the stories that she comes back and says you're just like still
It's
going on.
impossible. No, but it is. I mean, my dad was probably raised in a house about the size of this room.
Mm.
With
And there were
12 brothers and sisters.
14 kids and a mom and dad. No running water, no heat. And I said, where,
14. So 16 people in this room.
yeah. I said,
I
"Where
don't
did you
think
sleep?"
that wouldn't be legal.
He said
No, right?
I said,
when-
"Oh,"
when
I said,
one
where
got-
did you sleep? He's like, wherever you put your body down. That was it.
when one got spanked, they all got spanked. So
Yeah.
they all slept so close together. So that
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah,
he
we
had,
come
and he
over.
said, I mean, you had an outhouse, right? That was your bathroom.
This was in where? Appalachia.
Rum Creek Holler in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
And I was there, and I drove by, when they were having a holler reunion, no joke. And I'm like, Dad, some of these houses should be condemned. He was like, boy, they should have been condemned when we were living in them.
Oh my gosh.
The doors didn't shut because the houses were no longer plumb. They were leaning over, so when you lean, the doors aren't going to shut correctly. The windows don't shut correctly. They didn't have roofs. They had tar paper. He said that was normal. Just roll out the tar paper. It's a lot cheaper than roofing material.
That's insane to me. Like, do they not? Especially not. Like maybe in the 40s, like it's like you don't know. You don't have
You don't have building codes
awareness.
there. There's no building codes there. Impossible to have building codes.
What do you mean?
And I
impossible?
jokingly say, and it's a sad joke, but it is the truth. And I said, Dad, the rich people are living in mobile homes. He's like, yeah. Those were the rich ones. And this was just 7 years ago. I went down.
70.
Seven,
Oh.
no, 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
ago. I went down with them. They had a holiday reunion. Yep.
That's
great, man.
crazy. So there's just nothing around there.
Well, now there's no work, right? The coal miners have shut down, so there's no real industry down there. You know, but
Jeez. All right. Well, on that pretty note,
Yeah.
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Right? Like so. All right, we got one more. Oh wait, no, do we? Hang on. Where is it? Let's see what we got. No, that was our final one. Okay, so. Other than that, we've got a few things going up. Do we have any announcements of things? Are there any good down payment programs coming up? I know every now and then you'll get like one of those. What is it? Minority.
There's so the National Faith should be coming back
Which one is that?
the 20 or 25.
it's either 20 or 25.
2025. Which one is
That
that?
one's
Is
in
that the
Wayne
one
County
for the
only.
Wayne County?
So that one's a Wayne County only. That one usually gets refunded at the beginning of the year. So at
Beginning of the
start
year.
of the year.
And what's the
Third.
is that open to anyone? Credit. I mean,
Well,
obviously credit.
You know, credit. You got your income limit.
But
you
that's not
got
that's not minority only though.
No,
Okay.
that
Well, that's
one's,
good.
That one's a pretty open one.
How do those other ones? How are they even exist?
So the
They're funded,
federal,
federally funded.
I don't
the
know.
federal government can discriminate. You cannot.
Okay. And for those like listening, though, like there are. So if I were to say, I'm like, well, sorry guys, we're only showing this house to African Americans. We are not accepting white people at the moment.
Yeah,
I'll lose my license like probably next week. You know, like
At a minimum.
yeah. So, but there are federal grants, which are, for people who identify as, and it wasn't even all minorities. It was African American, I think Latino, Pacific Islander was another one.
Native American
Yeah,
Indian.
certainly not Caucasian. Right?
So yeah, there actually is a caveat.
I know
asterisk
what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
within the federal government, within the laws that says you're not allowed to discriminate, right?
Mhm.
And there's like 15 different protected classes.
Yep.
But within it, there's like a little subcategory that says you're not allowed to discriminate unless that category of people have a lower percentage of home ownership than the national average. Then you're allowed to offer special programs to that subcategory of protected class to help
Oh.
increase the home ownership
So
within
that's
that class.
that's how. Okay. So it's affirmative action.
So it's an affirmative action.
I got it.
It's not meant to be, reverse discrimination. It's meant to increase home ownership within a certain subcategory. But in the end, it discriminates.
It
right?
do- it does
even though
discriminate.
you may come from, I'll use myself as an example, right? My dad, like I just said, came from a family of 14, lived in poverty until he went to the military. He was, the first homeowner in his family, really. And yet, because I'm not of a protected class, well, I would be half a protected class, I guess, because my mother's Hispanic. I wouldn't have qualified for maybe one of these programs.
Yeah.
And I even talked to one of the bank presidents when this started because I wasn't a real fan of it. And he was of Caucasian descent, and he had adopted children that were of minority descent. And he even said to me, how do I explain to my kids, the one to the right of me, you qualify for this $25,000, but I look to the left and I say, but you don't.
Well,
Even though both were born in the same, not born, both lived and were raised in the
Same
same
household.
economic,
Yeah.
benefits.
Well, that's the that's the decision makers, I suppose, in the policy. But even that grant, doesn't it say they just have to identify?
Correct.
Well, that's the thing, and I was going to end with that. So, with the laws the way they
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
yes, they can discriminate, but they can't ask you what you identify as. So if you say, you know what, I want this mortgage,
Yeah.
they can't discriminate until you know.
It's a checkbox. You just
It's a
have
checkbox.
yourself.
Are you minority? Check. Yeah. There you go.
Wild.
God
That's
bless- God bless
crazy.
America.
Because they can't question you and ask. Are you,
I mean, a perfect
No.
example is we'll look at him, right? Mr. Whitey over here.
I think
Um,
even the reflection. Makes it
Yeah,
look
yeah. The light's making it like we just see a brown hoodie. That's all we see.
at a white.
But you know, if you saw his grandmother, you know, she's this tall and this wide. You know, too many frijoles growing up.
Sure,
and,
sure.
But yeah, looks nothing like his grandmother.
Well, that is it as far as our show today, you guys. We have obviously anytime you guys want to explore listing a house, maybe your payments just you're like, hey, I don't know, like, are there other options out there? Is there a way to reduce my payment? And what if I downsize? I have a house that's too big or whatever. What if I relocated somewhere to a better
Maybe I got a
county?
$4,700
Yeah,
mortgage.
yeah.
and I'm
Maybe
making
you have
90 grand.
right. Maybe you know if you look down the barrel of 10 years and you have a roof that's going to need done to the tune of 20 or 30 grand. Any of those things, we can help you explore those. You can also we also came up this week a couple times is if you're shopping outside of Michigan, like we're us three, we're licensed in Michigan, but we have, we can of course get you in touch with the good agents, whether you're looking for a vacation home in Florida, maybe good Godspeed, but with those
You
insurance.
can get a
but-
good deal now.
yeah,
in
right,
Florida.
right. But or anywhere else, we can, put you in touch with a good agent there nationally as well. So, in the meantime, wherever you're seeing this, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, just kind of follow subscribe, like, comment, ask us any questions, and we'll respond to those when you can. Appreciate you guys coming in today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.